Hey everyone, Andre here, along with Tris, Joey, and Tom, to finally give our thoughts on the recent Nintendo Direct, and we have a lot of thoughts. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot we've already discussed in our live stream reactions and some of the other videos we've made. But point is, a lot's happened. We've had some time to let it all set in, especially that wild Mario movie cast, and it's time to discuss it all, or at least the things we want to talk about. So I guess we'll just start off with our overall, our overall quick thoughts now that we've had time to sit on the Direct. So Joey, how are you feeling about it overall now that we're about 24 hours removed from it?
I thought it was still really good. There were major announcements, of course, a few of them, but they were like some announcements that really got me excited, namely Bayonetta 3 and the Nintendo 64 games coming to Switch. That really excites me.
How about you, Tris?
Oh man, this Direct was really good, and really sitting back and looking at it, if they swapped this into E3 one, it still would have been good. This was E3 quality, everything we saw here, and it felt that way all the way through, which was fantastic.
I would say it was better than the E3 one. Really, because they both had Metroid in it, so...
I think pacing-wise, I liked this better than the E3 Direct.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with the E3 Direct, pacing-wise back then, but this one just... It always kept moving. The first 15 minutes was... And I even said this during the live reaction. The first 15 minutes were incredibly solid and packed. We were wondering what the heck they were going to do for the rest of it. But even when they got into longer announcements, they were still paced well. Nothing dragged on, which was great. And overall, I would say this was probably one of the strongest Directs. And there's so many highlights for me.
How about you, Tom?
I thought, they delivered a great one that was E3 caliber, as Tris said. And looking at the pacing later, at the halfway point, you go into the online services, you get something fresh with Mario movie stuff, and then you get a huge look at Splatoon 3 and Bayonetta 3, which we've been waiting for a long time. I'm glad I was wrong on that they were actually showing it this year.
Yeah.
But it was nice of Nintendo looking back for them to relieve some of the pressure of Kamiya and have Bill turn in and say it's progressing well, and not just one of those no comment type answers. So something like that is for developers, because they're people too, and they feel a lot of pressure, and it's probably really hard for them not to be constantly showing off their game this for 4 years.
Yeah.
So nice that has a fresh look in Tokyo for Bayonetta 3, and there's some. They say winter, look at winter games, it's a far bigger range than that. The N64 announcement, great, we got F-Zero. I'm not sure, looking at that, if it'd be better if we're in a world without subscription models and just buying games, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, there were a lot of thoughts there, and that's because there's a lot to cover in the Direct. And I think that's why it kind of felt like just a big event, because there were all these announcements. Now, I do think, looking back on it, I still think it's great. I still think it was really good. In fact, it's one of the probably few Directs that hasn't really dropped in quality upon reflection. But I do think though that it may not have been able to stand up as an E3 Direct, just because there was a lack of big brand new games. The only major one, first party wise, was Kirby in the Forgotten Land, whereas everything else we pretty much knew about. There are either DLC expansions or additions. Bayonetta 3 even, first time we really saw it, but we knew it existed. So I think that could have been the hang up with an E3 Direct, but otherwise I thought it was great. I think I just want to get into it. The thing that got me the most yesterday was what's that Mario cast announcement? Freaking Chris Pratt as Mario. Seth Rogen as Bowser, right?
Nope.
Oh,
No,
Donkey
Seth Rogen
Kong.
is
Or
Donkey
Donkey
Kong.
DK, right, sorry, DK. Who's Bowser again? That's
Jack Black.
Jack Black, that was it.
Jablinski.
Hilarious. That I still can't envision it, and I posted some of my reactions to Twitter, and some people, some people interpret them, or a few people interpret them negatively. They weren't negative. They were just what? What the hell? I'm actually excited by the cast. I don't know if it's the best thing for the movie. It's the last thing I ever expected, but definitely has me curious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope Keegan-Michael Key plays every Toad and not just one.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be hilarious.
Field of Toads.
Oh man, yeah, that's the thing. I'm on this sort of feeling about this cast. It is kind of just like I posted my reaction to Twitter too. It was sort of just like, are you kidding me? What's going on? Like this is the sort of cast that would be made fun of in a 4chan post about the Mario movie.
Totally. No one would believe it. No one would have believed this.
Well, but
Exactly.
that's the funny thing though, because that's exactly what happened before in the last year when people were saying like, oh, when do we think we're gonna hear about the cast for the Mario movie? And people were constantly making jokes about like Jack Black as Bowser or Chris Pratt as Mario, and people were constantly joking like, we're gonna get these, and y'all are gonna be disappointed. And then it suddenly happened, and nobody could believe this is real. This feels wild.
Yeah, it's very wild. And they did confirm Charles Martinet is going to be in it, but as cameos, with a plural cameo. So I hope he voices a lot of different characters in this. I think what would make the Martinet fans happy, and we're all Martinet fans here, what would make me happy at least is if Wario and Waluigi were in the movie and they had like significant speaking roles too, because we've already heard Wario speak full sentences. It's not too crazy. But to me, Mario speaking full sentences is kind of hard to fathom, which is why I'm not surprised he's not playing Mario in this movie, and I don't think anyone else should be that surprised either, because Charles Martinet doesn't speak full sentences in Mario games, rarely, if that.
Yeah.
Clearly, you never got the pre-order call from GameStop for Mario Galaxy back
Yes,
in the
I
day.
did, Tris.
Clearly, you never stood in line at E3 as Charles Martinet just harasses everyone around him as Mario, and it's amazing. It's the best. No, I mean, you're right. I mean, I think whenever I hear Mario talk for an extended period of time, it's always a little weird. And that's actually kind of partially why I am excited by this voice casting announcement, though, because it tells me that, we were legit wondering, how are they going to make this movie? Is Mario going to be silent? And now, very clearly, he's not. They're not bringing in they're not bringing in Chris Pratt just do woohoo, yahoo, wee, every few seconds and that shit. He's going to be talking in full sentences, and I'm actually kind of excited by that. It tells us that this is going to have an actual narrative, an actual story, an actual dialogue focused adventure, and that is kind of what I wanted to see. And they're incorporating Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong too, which who are they again offhand?
Donkey Kong is Seth Rogen.
Rogen.
Cranky Kong is Fred Armisen.
That's it. Yeah, I never expected them to pop up in the movie, and so I don't even know what the story is here, but I'm just kind of nervously excited for everything they're showing off. And I think it's going to be on the one hand, it might be a little bit weird to be hearing a different voice from Mario, period, let alone Chris Pratt, who I've been seeing / hearing that apparently has a pretty good vocal range, so it may not even be his typical voice, though I kind of expected. He has done voiceover work before, such as in the Lego movie, of course. I almost forgot where I was going with this. But yeah, anyways, point is, I'm more curious now, even somehow, than I was before. Concerned.
I'm
curious.
going to quick point out that it's almost like getting the Wii name out there.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Chris Pratt's going to be Mario, and let everyone burn through that until the actual trailer comes out later. And I think out of all the cast, it's Chris Pratt is the only one that I'm kind of huh, too? But
Yeah.
Jack Black as Bowser, I mean, imagine if he breaks out into song at some point in the movie. That would be amazing.
Oh, yes, man. Jack Black as Bowser could be gold, straight up. Jack Black's been in video games, too. He's a very prominent voice actor as well, out in video games and movies.
Yep.
So somebody tells me he's got this in the bag.
My first thought. My first thought was his role in Kung Fu Panda.
That's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
too.
But that as Bowser, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
I
that
really
would
hope
be.
he sings.
And to that point, doesn't Bowser usually has the hard guitar tracks, right, in the games, 3D World? I'm thinking, maybe I'm misremembering. Isn't there it has a hard rock edge? Jack Black is all
Yes.
about that. So
Are you implying not only is Bowser gonna break into song in the movie, but he's gonna break into hard rock or metal music?
that's what I'm implying.
Tenacious D.
Exactly it. That's exactly
Oh
what I
my
want.
gosh.
I remember my point from earlier. I was gonna say it might be weird, envisioning, let alone seeing or hearing Mario with a different voice. But then again, I was literally just watching the Super Mario World cartoon on Amazon 2 days ago, and I had no problem going back to that. Mario sounds like some gruff New Yorker in that, and it totally works too. It's not,
Yeah.
It wasn't that big of a shift. I mean, probably partially because I grew up with the cartoon, so I'm inherently used to it. But after hearing Martinet for 30 years or 20 years, you'd think that it might be a bit weird of a shift, and it might still be. But I think it'll work. I think part of it is we're so focused on the actor that we forget, like, they're just going to become the characters, you know? Like, they're going to be the character rather than the actor portraying them. Like, if you didn't know it, we may not even have realized it watching the trailer who was who. Maybe we would. I don't know. But, like, I know when I was watching the Lego movie, I don't even think I even realized that was Chris Pratt as the main character until afterwards, so...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who he was at the time, even watching that movie.
Yeah, I think we do have to just reserve our expectations until we at least see a trailer. Because what I'm more concerned about right now is how's this movie gonna look?
Yeah.
Because Illumination has a very specific animation style they like to go with. Everything looks like Despicable Me or Pets or Secret Life Pets or whatever. But it makes me wonder, like, how close are they gonna stick with the original character models? Because if Mario and Luigi look like something out of freaking Lorax or something, I'm gonna be like, ew.
Yeah. Yeah, more like you. Oh, never mind.
You tried.
I would love if they looked similar to the quality of like the really high quality renders for the Mario characters we've been getting as of late, like that terrifying Waluigi from back in the spring, for example.
With the rose.
Yeah, but like getting really high, like good, nice quality like that, I think would be really nice. Though I do kind of agree. I think it'll be closer to what we see with like Despicable Me and the Minions in terms of art style. I can't wait for Toads to become equal to Minions in size and numbers and potentially annoyance.
But they're gonna be voiced by Keegan-Michael Key. They're gonna be like, "You done messed up, Mario." Stuff like that.
I was thinking like the videos we've been putting out, like the little like here's like Chris Pratt as Mario, and we do like the little voice clips, and same thing with Luigi. I was thinking doing that same as that thing for Toad.
Oh man.
Yeah, we should absolutely. If you want to do that, Tris, feel free. Yeah, I was looking for.
I don't know, it was a lot, but yeah.
I was looking for Kung Fu Panda clips yesterday to try and pair it with Bowser, but couldn't find any good ones. So.
Somebody on Twitter already paired Seth Rogen with Donkey Kong from the show, and it was too perfect. It was literally just his laugh.
That's gonna be the weirdest thing, actually. It's hearing Donkey Kong speak,
right?
Because outside of okay and the Donkey Kong cartoon, we haven't really seen that. So
you know what strikes me as weird, actually? We have Donkey Kong confirmed talking in this movie before we have any confirmation of Yoshi being anywhere in this movie.
Man, Yoshi's probably in it. I think I saw someone on Twitter suggest that they're gonna be like the post credits tease, and I could totally see that. Like.
I could see that.
Like Tails at the end of the Sonic movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
How can you have Chris Pratt as Mario and not give him a dinosaur companion? Yep. I don't understand that.
Right?
Real quick though, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. We don't know for sure that Donkey Kong's going to talk because they cast Vin Diesel as freaking Groot.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
He just makes a bunch of
DK.
Yeah, exactly.
Seth Rogen has the voice for a DK.
He does. He totally could. Just inherently, yeah. It's pretty great.
I do have one like my last thought on Mario movie cast. The fact that we have Spike Foreman, from Wrecking Crew, and that's not really a known, in quotes, like a known character for Mario, unless you played Wrecking Crew back in the day. Do you think they're gonna bring back this character in like Mario spin-offs or something to kind of promote and to kind of raise the interest of it?
100%. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I mean, I think it might depend on how the movie does, unless there's like a tie-in at the movie time. Yeah, there will. You know what? I'm going all in. Yes, there will be some kind of tie-in when the movie comes out, and if the movie does well, then they'll lean into it and have him appear in all kinds of things. I think the more interesting aspect with that is what does that mean for the story implication? Like, could they actually be going back to Mario's, like, roots of his origin story actually being in, like, New York or the real world? Or will it be, like, a New Donk City type thing? Like, my hope is that, like, this is the unifying Mario theory here. Donkey Kong, like, kidnaps Peach in the real world or something, or Daisy, and then, somehow they have to chase him to the, Mushroom Kingdom, after leaving the worksite where Spike works. But in any case, that's my hope, that this has, like, real world origins. Like, that's why I always love the idea of Mario being an everyman who worked in, like, New York, and that was the original story of Mario Brothers, the arcade game. They're in the sewers of New York City, and Yoshi's Island screwed all that up, so...
Yeah, really. Man, Yoshi's Island really messed with that Mario canon, didn't it?
Okay, then. Ellen Wickinson says, with Jack Black as Bowser, who did they get if K. Rool shows up? Ooh.
Kyle Gass from Tenacious D.
Oh, yeah?
Obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know of a good K. Rool offhand, so...
Well, they can't get Christopher Plummer because he died. So
Oh yeah.
I'm
Shame.
not sure.
All right, let's go and move on. We talked a lot about the Mario movie. We could probably be here all day talking about it. How much I would love to be. Let's go and move on to. I don't know. I think let's go and move on to the next to the. I think the only real game announcement we had from Nintendo themselves, at least, which was Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And this game looks. I'm really excited for this game. I've been wanting a 3D Kirby forever. I'm loving the city or the setting of the city. That's in like a state of disrepair. Like it's all overgrown and stuff. Loving that, and it just looks fun. Now I will say, upon initial watch, I thought it was gonna be more like open worldish, you know, because you're in this giant city and you can roam around. And I think no, it's more like 3D World. I just posted a whole video about this, where it's more like tightly constructed levels, and I think that's still going to be great. Just a little bit different than what I had thought based on the initial showing.
Yeah, it definitely strikes me as more of a 3D World style in terms of level layouts. Like, it's still a 3D Kirby. Don't diminish that. It's just, it's not Breath of the Wild open world.
Right.
You can't go anywhere that you can see. It's not quite that far, but it basically looks to take the level designs of existing Kirby and translate those into a bigger 3D space, which is still very exciting.
Yeah, it's baby steps. You can't go all the way yet. You gotta like wean your audience into the idea of a 3D Kirby game. And this is the first time I'm excited for a Kirby game.
Yeah.
So there you go. This game looks super cool. I'm still reserving my hype levels for it because I don't know if it's going to be like an amazing sort of 3D game because it is fairly limited in its scope, at least. Like from what I could tell, the camera's not. You can't control the camera at all, so it is kind of like a 3D. Yeah, 3D Mario 3D World Land sort of experience, but it's still more fascinating than, you know, another 2D Kirby game. Not to say those are bad at all, but, you know, it's kind of like we get a Kirby game like every other year in that style. It's time for something new.
Yeah.
And hey, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was just going to say, we didn't really see him floating around much in the trailer. And if he could just fly anywhere, then you would have a huge problem probably level design, and it might be too tough for players. Like Kirby with his float kind of makes it easier. I guess we'll see if that's in it more in the final game.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious
that's
about.
true.
How exactly that works. We did see Kirby like fly for one portion of the trailer.
Yeah,
but,
briefly.
and he is flying for like he gets quite a few flaps in, and we don't see it run out. So it's. And I do want, like, you know, I imagine it will. My thinking is it'll work a little bit like Smash, where you get a few flaps and you're going to fall eventually. But they could, you know, it'd be interesting if they did go back to, like, Kirby's Dream Land, which let you fly indefinitely, you know? I mean, most of the Kirby games, 2D Kirby games work that way. I think that'd be difficult to translate into 3D, but, you know, it's always possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it has just a really pleasant look to it, and it's been a while since I've been excited for, like, a proper, like, mainline 3D or mainline Kirby, and this one's doing it. This one's hitting all the right buttons for me. So,
Didn't you predict that too?
I did. Yeah, wow. That was in my prediction, so I'm glad that came true. Now I can go back to my Donkey Kong predictions.
Yeah,
they got Kirby out of the way.
I think our predictions, same for the Nintendo 64 ones, were really almost spot on this time.
Wait,
like, I'm kind of shocked.
Weren't our 64 ones spot on too? I thought.
Yeah, they were. They were super. I said including our.
Oh, including, yeah. Yeah, no, we did. Yeah, that's a good transition point. No, we had a pretty good spawn predictions this time.
Even Yoshi's Story's on there
Yeah.
somehow.
Yoshi's Story. Yoshi's Story, Banjo-Kazooie, which we had discussed about. Yeah.
The heck.
That's
like,
awesome.
That implies so much for the future of this service. Like, Banjo-Kazooie is a bigger deal than just being able to play Banjo-Kazooie on the Switch. Because we were thinking, like, okay, copyright would probably make this game not come to Switch since now Banjo's owned by Microsoft and whatnot. But now it's like, here it is. So what does this mean? What else? What other games can we get on the 64 online service? GoldenEye?
GoldenEye, probably.
Diddy Kong Racing?
Yeah, I do definitely want Diddy Kong Racing.
It's amazing.
Don't you want Conquer?
Oh, Conquer,
Yeah,
maybe. It's amazing if you look back at that generation where a second party basically like took the console and like put it on its back, being rare, and like held up the N64. Like half of the it would always be like Nintendo and them and Connect. Like half the good games were rare games on N64, so that's really promising for the service in the future.
Yeah,
Any genre rare tackled, they nailed.
Yeah.
That's wizardry.
pretty much. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, they were synonymous with Nintendo on the 64, and 64 would not have been as successful as it was, which, you know, paled in comparison to the PS2, or I'm sorry, PlayStation. But yeah, without Rare. Like, Rare was essential to the platform, and they really helped save it. So it's awesome to see that at least some level of support from them. I wonder if Banjo-Kazooie might show up at some point. Maybe it'd be amazing they're not going to do it. It'd be amazing they went back and it properly fixed Stop and Swap. They kind of addressed it in the Xbox versions, but not really. I want them to go back, properly do it. They won't. But yeah, Jet Force Gemini is another one that could come here. But yeah, anyways, we're also getting Sam Punishment, a game that never officially released on the console itself in the States. It did eventually on the Wii, so that's cool. That's coming to the service as well. Yeah, I'm just really excited for it. Now, oddly, they didn't announce the price for it, because they did announce it's coming as part of a second tier along with Sega Genesis games, which also exciting news.
Yeah, but, don't just gloss over the Sega Genesis. That was huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was.
I don't know if it's huge. I don't know. For me, it's not huge, but
It's huge in the sense that the Nintendo Switch Online is adding a non-Nintendo system.
but we saw that on Virtual Console before. So
On Wii, but they got rid of them in Wii U, and now it's coming
Yeah.
back on Nintendo.
And those were you buy the game individually. You don't pay for the whole service and get the whole library like this.
right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a great bonus. I don't know how they negotiated that, but yeah. Anyways,
Sega was probably like, help us.
Point is, though, we're getting quite a few new games, quite a few more games as part of the NSO upgrade. So what do you think that's going to cost, though, for this expanded service if you want to partake in it? $10 more per year, Tom?
Or $10 a month or whatever.
I think
Or not
$10
$10 a month, like yeah.
For comparison, real quick, a base yearly subscription right now is $20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
For an individual?
individual. Yeah.
Is it okay? I don't do the individual one, so I actually wasn't sure. So okay, that's interesting.
35.
Yeah, I could see it going up by 10 to 15.
I could say 15. I feel like if they doubled it, I think a lot of people would balk at that, because you're not getting double. You're not getting double the content. You're still getting the base features, and then just a few more platforms beyond what we had before. I think 15 would be reasonable. I think 40 would be pushing it. So
I think it's going to be
agreed.
10. I really think I'm sticking to 10. Like, I really feel like that's the best. That's the best way. I mean, I think 15 is too much. 15 increase is too much, and people would already scoff at that. 10 is a bit more reasonable, in my opinion.
10 is.
I do wonder.
Yeah.
I do wonder how much it'll end up going up for the other tiers or the other plans, because, like, for example, I do a family plan with 7 other friends, so it translates roughly at current price, which I think it's like 35 total or something like that. It translates to each of us paying about $5 for it, which is like really simple. But with how much with this new tier, how much would those go up for people that pay for family plans or other ones? Because I don't think it would go up proportionally. Well, it would go up proportionally, but it wouldn't be like equal.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Who knows what they might do?
Maybe Joey's right, though, where it won't go up as much because they'll try to recoup some of that cost through selling controllers.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
I want that Nintendo 64 controller. I
Me
did
too.
not care. I did not care a bit for the SNES and NES controllers, but this Nintendo 64 controller, man,
you have to
I'm
have it.
all over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
It's pretty much essential because of the C buttons. Like, no, the control sticks, the right control sticks don't replicate those as well as the original controller. The only thing is they just had to fix the joystick, which was kind of broken on the original.
It didn't look like it was fixed. It still has the notches.
It looks similar.
And design to it.
I hope
It
it's
looks
modified.
identical.
But,
Yeah, because try playing Ocarina of Time on a Pro controller with with like the right stick. No, sir.
It's not as good. It's nowhere near as good. Alice, real quick, Alan brings up the point that no one had been rumoring the Genesis, and that is a good point. Like, we had rumors of Game Boy and 64, the latter of which we had heard ourselves, but no one had heard Genesis, so that was a surprise.
or the controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the controller, man. I hear Japan, or is it Europe? I don't remember. Is getting a different Genesis controller.
That's
with-
Japan.
Yeah.
That's Japan. Okay, yeah, with the 6 buttons.
It happened too with their Genesis Mini thing. Same thing. Japan got the 6-button one, I believe. US only got the 3-button one. I don't know why. Is it just nostalgia's sake? Because the 6-button one is better. It works with more games, or better with more games. So,
I have a question about a Nintendo 64 game on this list. So the list of launch titles for 64 Online is mostly stuff we know about. Star Fox 64, Mario 64, etc., etc. What the heck is Winback? Covert Ops.
I was wondering that too.
Winback.
I've never heard of this game.
Have you played it, Tom?
I never played it, but I did hear about it
Yeah.
back in the day. So
I've literally such a random thing. I've never heard of it.
It was actually kind of big back in the day. Like, not massive. It wasn't like a GoldenEye or anything. And I never played it myself. I only heard about it from others or from articles. And I think it's kind of like, I think it was like a third-person action game. Maybe it had some stealth. I want to say it was almost a little Metal Gear Solid-ish. I could be totally making that up.
I'm thinking Metal Gear Solid-ish
Yeah.
from what I recognized.
Interesting.
So one of the things I think it kind of pioneered was like the over-the-shoulder camera, at least as an option, which of course Resident Evil 4 would really popularize a few years later. But this game kind of like was one of the first instances of it. They had like elements where you could like press up against the wall, I think, and peek around corners, I believe. Again, this may not be entirely accurate, but it was doing some cool new things. It just may not have been entirely polished, I think. So that will be fun to revisit. You know, I never expected to see that name again, and here it was, seeing Winback.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I feel like if Winback can make a comeback, so can Diddy Kong Racing,
I hope so.
GoldenEye, all that stuff.
Bingo. Well, speaking of comebacks, Bayonetta 3 finally got a trailer for Bayonetta 3.
Man, oh man, what an emotional roller coaster that trailer was. Because I think a lot of people missed the first Platinum reference they made. There was that dog barking at the beginning of the trailer that was a Shiba Inu. That was in another Platinum Games trailer for their upcoming game, Project GG. So we were like, is this Project GG? But it's got to be Bayonetta, right? And then the soldiers come in, and then we see the dog mascot from Astral Chain. Right. We're like, wait, is this Astral Chain 2? Wait a minute, the Astral Chain 2 is not even set in the present day. What's going on? And then they're done with the fake outs and said, we got you guys. It's Bayonetta 3. Even Bayonetta herself says, sorry, I kept you waiting. She didn't say sorry. She was just like, I'm fashionably late, but I'm going to give you everything you want. Winks at camera.
That was our Kid Icarus entrance.
Yes, exactly.
Basically, yes.
They had one more reference that I noticed while watching the trailer again today. On the center skyscraper at the very beginning, it says 101 and Wonder under it.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that.
That is nice. That is a nice little reference.
That is really cool. Yeah, I'm excited for Bayonetta 3. I really need to replay the first two before I make any more videos on Bayonetta 3, because it's been a long time.
Once we get a solid release date in beyond just 2022, I'm definitely going to actually go back and play through 1 and 2 again, because I am definitely very excited to have more of this again, finally. It's been almost 4 years since Bayonetta 3 was initially announced, and I'm thankful that this trailer did not explain why she died in that original teaser.
Yeah.
Or maybe it did, based on people's theories. I don't know.
Yeah,
so many theories about this game.
It's interesting.
I'll make a separate video about that. We don't have to go into them here. But
Yeah.
the gameplay looks totally revamped. Like, it's no wonder it's taken them so long. Bayonetta 2 was for better or worse kind of a reskin of 1 with completely different levels, new enemies, a story, etc. But the HUD looked the same. The combat was the same with a few new elements. But here, the HUD is completely different. There's a lot more gameplay involved. And somebody pointed this out. The director of the game, not Kamiya, I think he's the creative director, I'm not sure. But the main director of the game, I forget his name, he worked on Scalebound. So it's no wonder that you can control giant demons in this game like you could control giant dragons in Scalebound. That is awesome.
That makes sense.
That's fascinating. They've been going on like a kaiju type giant Godzilla monster type chair for a while. If you have that and then this and Project GG, it's like become some sort of focus of Platinum Games.
Yeah, they're probably like, Microsoft canceled Scalebound. We're going to make up for it 3 times over.
Yeah, and it looked epic. Like, it actually got me interested in playing the game. I haven't played much of the previous 2, and now I kind of may want to, just so I understand what's happening in Bayonetta 3, potentially. Because, yeah, it looked like some really, really cool action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tokyo environments are great, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game might be set entirely in Tokyo. Who knows? Sometimes Bayonetta games like to start off in like a completely different part of the world and then move on to something else for the rest of the game.
Yep.
But this will be an interesting setting because also the villains are not angels or demons, so it kind of makes you wonder what's going on here.
It would actually make me think No More Heroes 3 a little bit from what we saw in this trailer of this clear other threat that's actually posing a threat to humanity in the moment. Not like normal Bayonetta where they kind of they snap their fingers or whatever, and then like the angels and demons are in like some other take of reality that won't affect people, but they're affecting people here, which is really interesting. And my mind immediately went like aliens or something, or some interdimensional beings. But
what if it is aliens? That would be nuts. Like the thing about I hear these Bayonetta 3 story theories, like this is a different timeline. This is the timeline where young Bayonetta went back and then changed everything, and I'm like, that doesn't sound crazy given that it's Bayonetta and anything can happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and the different voice actress, so
that's causing people to theorize this is a different character, and I'm like, I'm not sure. Apparently she is still the same voice actor in Japanese. I need to look more into that, but that's interesting. It sounds like it could be Jennifer Hale, but I'm not going to confirm that or like say straight up it is. But yeah, I'm really excited for Bayonetta 3. I'm glad we saw more than just another tease. We got gameplay and it looks fantastic.
When do you think it'll come out in 2022? Do you think this will be the winter title or the summer title or
it's
what? It's
going to be a fall title probably. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Bayonetta 2 was a fall title. So, you know, and it's about witches. It's got to be like Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. All right. What else stood out to any of you about the Direct? Any other things that hit big for you personally?
I mean, can I talk about Mario Party?
Yes.
Because, first of all, like, good. Daisy's here. She wasn't strangely cut like Waluigi Mario Kart 7 or something like that. She is here. Strangely enough, the only character that was shown off in this that like we hadn't seen before. So, no real reason to have hidden her before, I guess. But we have the rest of the maps revealed. So we have Horrorlands from Mario Party 2, and Yoshi's Tropical Island from Mario Party 1. I was kind of hoping for another map from 3, rather than a second one from 1. That's, like, personally, I prefer the maps and boards in 2 and 3. But it's fair. It then makes me wonder if we can actually get a 6th board to unlock a second one from 3, so there's a nice even balance of them all. And then, despite not actually seeing many mini-games themselves in this trailer, the Japanese website updated with all of them right afterwards anyway.
We have a whole video of all 100 of them now, so... Yeah.
But it just looks fun, and it's what we've wanted from Mario Party for so many years. Like, I'm so excited for this.
Which is just a gameplay of the original 3, exactly. It's not
finally
going back to it more so than they did in Super Mario Party. And I'm actually happy with the board selection by and large. Like the 2 boards specifically we got in this Direct were actually ones I called out by name, I believe, in our predictions. And I'm actually not the biggest fan of the boards in 3. I think 1 and 2 were overall stronger for me. So yeah, I'm really happy with what we got. Horrorlands is like a fun twisty one. And then Yoshi's Island or Yoshi's Tropical Island, whatever, it's just a great one if you just want to be a jerk to people. Just raise the toll on those toll bridges as much as possible.
They knew.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Mario Party looks like a lot of fun. But that's not the only multiplayer game we saw a lot of, because we saw Splatoon 3 as well. Maybe not a lot of it, but we got brand new Splatoon 3 trailer. So Tris, you're obviously a big Splatoon player. What did you think of what we saw?
I don't know if I'd say big Splatoon player, but I am a Splatoon player, yes. It looks honestly like really exciting, and I'm really curious to see what they're doing with this world, because they definitely like had world building in the first 2 games. Like they definitely did with the Octolings and that whole Octo expansion they did into. But it feels like they're leaning even more into it for this game, and I'm totally there for that. I love when Nintendo tries to take one of its newer IPs and really, really expand upon it. And I mean, this one with Splatsville and the whole way they're trying to build up life in this new city and such. They're doing like such small things with it, and it just looks really exciting. And the gameplay itself looks, from what I'm seeing and hearing, largely unchanged from 2, but just building upon it even more, which honestly is just exciting. It's just going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's changing. I'm not sure if it's changing enough. I think I still need to hold out for more. Like, given the time gap it's been, I think I may have been hoping that they'd be twisting things up or changing things up a little bit more than they have been. Maybe I'll come through in the story mode. So I'm sure I'll have fun with it regardless. But I do know that I didn't enjoy Splatoon 2 as much as Splatoon 1 because it just didn't feel as fresh, which is what the game's all about. Being
fresh, man.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, Joey, did you catch your interest?
Man, I think I was panicking during this trailer because there's back-end drama. Tom was calling me names. It was very bad. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
But
Wow.
yeah, I was frantically trying to find a thumbnail, I think, so I didn't really get to watch too much of the Splatoon 3 trailer. But when it comes out, I will play it and I will be excited for it. Yeah, I would expect like a lot to change in this game, given that they get a lot of dev time for this one.
Yeah.
But also, what matters a lot is the core experience, and that means like you gotta stick to a certain art style, you gotta stick to certain gameplay styles. So I'm sure, in a sense, like more of the deeper mechanics will change a lot. But visually and gameplay-wise, it's probably not going to change too much. Because for one, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at least we're not getting this every year like another shooter franchise. So yeah, the minimal changes could probably get away with a little bit more, just because people are thirsty for more Splatoon.
Yeah, their paint bucket is empty.
Yes.
It's interesting with the mammalians, whatever they're calling them. And your little small fry is to go around and clean up the paint that those leave behind. Otherwise, you turn into like a fuzzy ball and can't do much other than roll around, apparently. I hope that isn't too annoying in the actual game, but it sounds funny. And I love the little cute small fry character. I think single player, I get the feeling it's going to be better this time around than the initial Splatoon 2 was.
I hope so too. Yeah, the single player is just in both games is pretty underwhelming. Yeah,
I don't think I finished single player in either of the
Really?
original games.
I actually like
It just didn't grab me. The only one I did was the Auto expansion for 2, because that one actually was interesting to me.
I never played the Octo expansion. I feel like I have to get that now.
A lot of people really like that one a lot. It definitely has a little bit more of a story interest or focus. So
And its puzzles were interesting.
yeah,
The gameplay and level design were actually interesting in that one.
definitely. Tom, did anything else stand out to you about the Direct?
Well, it was interesting how they had a couple of announcements, and
Yeah, we need to talk about those.
Smash Brothers coming on October 5th. I'm like, why October 5th? Why before Metroid Dread? Unless it's a Metroid character, but apparently that's the same day as Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl coming out.
God.
It
So
is.
Are they trying to either stomp on them, or are they trying to just cash in on the craze of Brawl fighters? So that's what I'm wondering there. What do you guys think?
I think Nigel Thornberry's coming to Smash. You heard it here first.
It's, this isn't the first time this has happened, so I don't really know, because when Rivals of Aether came to Switch, they shadow dropped Kirby Fighters 2 the same day. I'm pretty sure, or like the same week. So this is not the first time Nintendo has pulled something like this. So it definitely is kind of interesting. So I don't know if it's necessarily to squash hopes for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, but I do think October 5th is going to be a really busy but exciting day.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be excited if it wasn't Emmy, but I don't think the date has anything to do with it's not a hint at anything to come.
Yeah.
Whoever's going to be the final Smash character is going to be the final Smash character, and I gotta wake up super early to watch it. 7 a.m.
What? It's 8 a.m.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Earlier.
Why?
Well, Kraid's too big for Smash, so.
That's true. So Crockemeyer it is. You heard it here first.
Yeah, Kraid.
Alan Wilkinson says Chris Pratt is a clue. Final Smash Ultimate character is Rabbids 2 Mario.
There we go. That'd be amazing. Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure we'll have a whole discussion before about who the final character could be.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking more about that very soon, because that's not that far away. Wow, that ride's almost over. That we're finally getting and it seems like very definitive. This is the final character. There's gonna be no Wave 3.
Yes.
The way they've announced it, like this is it. This is the final Sakurai Directs for this game. So or Sakurai Presents. Yeah. So I'm excited. But that wasn't the only Nintendo
Announcement of an announcement.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll have the Animal Crossing Direct coming up sometime next month, which we got a little tease at, being with the return of Brewster in the museum with his cafe.
Finally.
Finally! Jeez.
Finally.
I don't know how it took so long. I think developers need more coffee themselves to get that content out there. But, yeah, so it seems like this obviously, I had also kind of predicted this. I thought they'd show us more, but there's a big update coming. They're adding something obviously big enough to warrant a whole direct, and I wonder what exactly that means. Like, you know, what the scale of it all is. Could it be going the paid route, like NSO kind of is? Like, will there be a paid expansion to this? What else is coming? So,
Well, they announced.
You're gonna finally be able to craft your items in bulk. I'm done. What were you saying?
Oh, there you go. that would actually be a fantastic quality.
$30 feature upgrade.
Well, as Chris reported yesterday in the the other day in What the Direct Didn't Tell You, they also announced a new wave of Animal Crossing amiibo cards. So they're probably also going to announce even more villagers can come stay on your island, which they kind of did a couple times, like with the Sanrio ones earlier this year. So it'll probably be another case of that, of here's more villagers that you can have, here's big updates coming like Brewster's Cafe, maybe crossing my fingers for like Zelda items coming, Metroid items coming, Kirby items coming, like getting the real Nintendo crossover content that like New Leaf and other games had a lot of.
Yeah, I would love to see more of that. You know, it makes sense as you drink out your Zelda mug.
Product placement.
Yes.
Who's paying you for this, Tris?
Yeah, where's the GameXplain mug, Tris? All right.
It's like, hold on while I take my Seahorse Saga pillow and relax on it.
You know what I'm surprised wasn't there?
What?
Advance
Wars?
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was shocking. Like, what?
Maybe because it's not. It hasn't been announced for Japan, right?
Is it not?
Has
What?
it
Really?
Has it been? I thought I heard something about that. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm mistaken, but that is surprising all the same regardless. But that's coming up pretty soon. So it makes me wonder there might be another mini direct coming up in the near future. You know, before December, because there's also Brain Age coming out then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be perhaps more DLC they can promote, like more Mario Golf at that point. We got a little tease of, or we got a release of after the direct this time. Yeah, so
I hope so. I mean, they could figure because it's December that maybe people will kind of forget about it a bit with all of the other big releases happening before then, so they want to just do a last second reminder then, and they don't want to wear people out on the game in the meantime. That could be it. So yeah, I will hope it will get its sort of limelight a bit later.
It was not announced for Japan, by the way. I did go look this up. Advance Wars was not announced for Japan.
yeah, so
Interesting.
So I wonder. I mean, to be fair, the directs have had like different content before. Even the Japan direct apparently had a new SMT5 trailer, which we didn't. But I wonder that as part of it, though. Maybe it's just on a different. They're just marketing differently based on the fact it's not announced for Japan, which is very surprising. In fact, I mean, first off, surprising the fact Nintendo's kind of unified their releases worldwide, and two, we never get exclusives. Like, what was the last like U.S. exclusive? Freaking that NES Star Tropics. There we go.
Star Tropics.
Yeah.
That's
Anyways,
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they're not sending Advance Wars out to die or something, because that would just suck.
I suspect they're not, but I also suspect they're not going to blow out the marketing on it. You know, I think they kind of
spent it all on Metroid this year.
No kidding, Metroid is definitely taking the lion's share of it. Speaking of which, we did get a new Metroid trailer. I don't think it showed too much new though.
Like, not at all. Like, maybe one or two shots. It was mainly just them reminding you, hey, this game's coming out. Buy it, because Joey is holding a gun to our head right now.
Which is exactly what we wanted from them.
Yeah.
Like, if it was gonna appear, we didn't want it to get a big, just before release, blowout of information, because we've already had that.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I think the way they had Dread in here was like the perfect way to include it.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of in the broader sense, like this direct just had like a really great pace to it, you know? Like, they didn't focus too much on stuff we've already seen a lot of and know are coming up in the near future, like Dread and even Mario Party. Like, because when you break it down, like, we know most of what's in Mario Party because it's based on the first 3 plus others. So yeah, I mean, they really just kind of like had it down to like a science in this case. Like, hey, here's a minute of Mario Party, here's a minute of Metroid. Let's move on to other stuff. Here's a new Kirby and Smash announcement coming up. And they actually focused. I think one of the longer segments was actually on Nintendo Switch Online, and the fact that they kept us engaged for what's a bunch of old games is pretty impressive. So,
can you imagine GameCube games coming?
No, I mean I can and I can't at the same time.
Well, I could and I couldn't imagine Nintendo 64 games. So I'm like, you know what? Anything's possible now.
In 3 years, yeah.
I do want.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. It would take a long freaking time for no reason.
Actually, well, speaking of Mario Party and NSO, no Mario Party listed for the 64 service. I wonder why.
Yeah, gee.
It's
no
so weird
Smash
how
listed.
no Smash.
You're right.
listed?
No Smash either. Yeah.
I think Smash will eventually come, but
I
they're
think so.
not going to try to take the attention off Ultimate, because I believe Smash 64 was on Virtual Console. I don't remember if it was on the Wii Shop, but it was definitely on the Wii, or vice versa. But yeah, and this would be Smash 64 with online, so that's its own thing to promote later on when that happens, but after Ultimate.
And that does actually kind of raise the point that we didn't bring up earlier, but we have talked about a lot in our predictions, because it's been part of NSO since the beginning, or since they had NES and Super NES. These games are online. You can play all these games, all these 64 games, the Fun Machine games online with 3 other players, and that's awesome, because 64 was so much about the multiplayer experience that we can now breathe new life into these games that have never been officially playable online before. And I'm super excited for that. We're gonna be doing all kinds of streams, I think,
I bet.
for playing these classic games online.
So, F-Zero fans, if you want to F-Zero, you all have to play F-Zero online. So Nintendo knows you want to F-Zero.
Yeah. I wish the F-Zero has a death race in it, almost like Fortnite, but in F-Zero. It's just not multiplayer though. I wish it were, because then we could have this epic
that would be great.
Online. Yeah,
Battle Royale, baby.
Exactly. Yeah, I already had in my comments in my tweet replies yesterday. Blessing was already messaging me, and he's like, "Yeah, we got to play these games online, once this Blessing from Kind of Funny," and it'd just be a lot of fun, just being able to relive these classic experiences in kind of a new way. I just hope the online holds up. It's worked pretty well in my experience with 2 people with SNES and Super NES, but yeah, 2 more connections on top of that, and the weakest one's gonna drag everyone down. So
that's true.
That's a concern.
So everyone, upgrade your Wi-Fi right now.
Hardwired. I don't even mess with
yeah, your OLED has a LAN port.
Yeah, get an OLED, buy an adapter, whatever you got to do.
Exactly. All right, anything else about the Direct? Oh, go ahead, Tom. Yeah.
One quick thing is, it's surprising how many single-player games for N64 they have there. I mean, they could have really put a lot more of the 4-player games in, so that's kind of surprising there.
And interestingly, too, I mean, Mario 64 is there, despite being in the 3D All-Stars last year, and it seems to be the actual 64 version, not the upgraded, mildly upgraded version in the All-Stars, which does mean there are some benefits in that. One, Mario says the proper phrase when you throw him, when you throw Bowser now. And 2 is that the backwards long jump is back, which I know is big to a lot of people, for the speedrunning community at least. Which is pulled out of the Japanese version that the 3D All-Stars version was based on. But we do lose. I think we would lose Rumble as a result, but whatever. So
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. No,
all I know is they somehow gave us Dr. Mario 64 and F-Zero. So I'll just take that.
Heck yeah, Dr. Mario 64, the only 4-player Dr. Mario. I'm excited for that. Yeah,
it'll be fun.
All right, anything else from the Direct we need to address?
There was KOTOR. But that's about it.
Oh yeah, actually that one totally slipped by me somehow.
That slipped by me too, because I was panicking in the back end. I didn't notice all the Star Wars stuff, and I'm like, oh, we're getting KOTOR on Switch. Maybe I'll finally play it now before the remake comes out. Who knows?
Maybe. Yep. Mario Golf getting its the next big update was pretty nice, honestly. Sure, it's not quite running the same system that Mario Tennis Aces did, where it's all tournament based and just each month it'll just naturally update. It's kind of off a cycle in this case. The last one was very early August. Now this one's very late September. But I mean, brand new playable characters like Ninja. That's exciting. Cool. It's just fun, wacky out of nowhere characters like Charge and Chunk in the base game, or Chain Chomp in tennis. It's just really nice getting those extra characters in. I kind of wish the golf updates felt a little more regular to kind of keep people on it a bit more, but because I already know a bunch of people are dropping off of Mario Golf. It's a little unfortunate.
I'm sure Nintendo's metrics. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, this is, of course, very specific to me, being a content creator. But them releasing the content immediately after the Direct just doesn't seem optimal. Like, because everyone's already talking about other stuff anyway. I feel like giving a bit of a breather would bring more people into the game. It may not matter. For me, though, it's like, I don't have time to go cover everything, so stop it.
Yeah, and we also got other shadow drops too, like Castlevania Advance Collection and ActRaiser, which I hear that remake's not very good, but I haven't played it to try it out.
Yeah.
I also want to bring attention to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity's second DLC expansion, which is much more story focused. Honestly, it looks pretty great. The shattered glass visuals, as I tweeted out, remind me of Marvel's What If. And as Chris and I were saying during the actual live reactions, is this another retelling? Like, it looks like it somewhat conflicts with the story of the actual Age of Calamity. So now we're just confused about what's going on here. And
is that not the most perfectly befitting thing for the Zelda series, where it just constantly contradicts itself?
Yeah, really.
It absolutely is. But this just makes everything busier, because that comes out the same day as Mario Party.
Oh my god, why Nintendo? I don't get it.
Different audience, maybe, in their mind.
Yeah, it is considered a different audience. Sadly, I am both of those audiences.
Maybe they'll give us an expansion of what really happened during that battle. Because I was so mad when I found out it was an alternate timeline. I was like, no, give me the depressing ending.
I know, do the Rogue 6 ending, right? So
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yeah, there we go.
Rogue. You get the 6 from, Andre, my goodness.
There's too many Star Wars movies.
I really do love Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and I still feel like this DLC is coming out a bit late for people. I don't see a lot of people coming back on for this unless they were like really, like me, like really dedicated and committed to the original game. And this isn't like the original Hyrule Warriors where all the DLC was done within 6 months of it releasing. Like, the first one started 6 months after, and it was kind of a small update, Wave 1. This one is just shy of a year after the original release. Sure, it's added story, but I don't actually see this bringing a lot of people back in. I'm happy we saw it here, though.
They might do it so later on they can bundle in DLC and keep the game full price.
That's true. Speaking of that, actually, that totally reminds me. The Japanese Direct announced physical versions of Breath of the Wild plus its DLC and Splatoon 2 plus that DLC.
Yep.
They're still like the price of both equally, I think. But the fact that it's a boxed-in version of the game plus DLC, that's kind of nice. Yeah. That's kind of nice. I think there's been digital versions of that for a while, like digital bundles, but to get physical versions of that, even if it's only in Japan, it's nice to see that they're looking to do more of that.
Yeah, it's. I wonder how much it actually increases sales. Like, has anyone been holding out? Like, has anyone been holding out Breath of the Wild for the DLC? You know, like I don't. I mean,
well,
you know, people who just buy a Switch are looking for something to get with it.
Like, so just before the OLED. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but wouldn't they buy the game anyway? Is more my point. Without the DLC.
Well, well, the point with this is it's Breath of the Wild with its DLC and it's Splatoon 2 with its DLC, both of which are wildly successful. So announcing and releasing those ahead of a new Switch model, being the OLED, people are going to be interested in getting those if they didn't already have a Switch.
Yeah, I guess I kind of get it. Like, I guess it does raise awareness of those games. I was just thinking, like, you know, was anyone holding off on buying those games because it didn't have the DLC originally? You know, but
absolutely not. They'll maximize sales potential anyway. Like, complete editions of games sell regardless.
That's true. Yep, good point. All right, any final thoughts? Any other thoughts about the Direct before we start wrapping it up?
I don't know for grading things, but I give it a B+.
That's fair. I agree with Eric in chat. I do wish they had different colors of the N64 controller.
Yes.
I think that would have been nice.
Gray's the most boring one.
It's true.
I want the
I had a
translucent
blue one.
Purple.
Banana yellow. That was cheaper.
Yeah, even had the like the stem marks on the bottom, didn't it?
Yeah. One of them did for DK.
The attention to detail. The 64 controller is a classic. I'm definitely getting it in some, or you know, in one way or another. When the press images even has, you can see the buttons on top for the wireless options, or wireless controls.
Oh, nice. Didn't see that.
I have two quick things to mention. I just like flipped through part of the direct that I feel need an honorable mention here because they're really big. The Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak expansion. There's just a tease for it, but like it's exciting. Monster Hunter games usually get like a new version later on down the line. So there's like Monster Hunter 4, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and it adds like a whole big thing of it. But since Monster Hunter Worlds, they started doing those as like big DLC expansions, and that's what this is going to be now, which still looks really nice. I'm kind of surprised they announced it so soon though, because Monster Hunter Rise was announced last September and then released in March. This is announced this September and it won't release till the summer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Almost
So
a year.
It's kind of
Yep.
yeah, it's kind of funny how long in advance this was announced, but it is a big deal and it's exciting, honestly. So I am looking forward to seeing more about that eventually. The other thing that I want to bring up, Project Triangle Strategy, excuse me. That really good like Square Enix Tactics game that has the Octopath Traveler art style. Beautiful looking game. We had the demo for that back in February, and now I'm really happy they addressed like a bunch of like the user feedback and how they're doing that in the actual trailer in the direct. That was a really smart way to do that, to show that they're listening and actually trying to address what players want for the game to make it a better experience. And that's coming in March. That honestly looks really great.
How much want to bet they're not going to change the title of it?
Seems like they're not going to.
Nope,
Yeah.
seems like it's staying the same.
I remember when the Octopath Traveler was Project Octopath Traveler. So,
Untitled Goose Game.
yeah, oh man, what a perfect title.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anything else, everyone? Nope. Yeah.
That's
I
it.
think that's it from me.
Yeah, I think it was overall a very good direct. So it was nice to see. It seemed like, obviously you're never gonna make everyone happy, but it did seem like, based on what I've seen, it seems like most people were satisfied with this direct, which is nice. It's good to have that positivity.
It's rare, but it's nice.
It is rare. Well, Rare was here in the form of Banjo-Kazooie.
Exactly.
So
That's
why.
the secret. Just put rare in every direct, and
Yep.
everyone will be happy.
I was actually looking back at the direct. I unless I missed it, looking through the scenes, but Banjo-Kazooie was almost like a blink and you'll miss it type thing. It was like at the very
Yes.
end of the row. I think it might have even been cut off, and that surprised me that it wasn't even given more attention. And then I went back and looked at the Japanese direct, and it was a second game shown. It was like, bam, Banjo-Kazooie. I'm like, oh. So
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people, I'm watching reactions, people lost their minds at the sight of that cover. Which I'm just like, Nintendo, whoever was responsible, fire that editor or something. Don't fire the editor, but like, I think they need to understand, like, Banjo-Kazooie is a big deal. I think the only people that realize that Banjo-Kazooie is a big deal are the fans and not the companies that run it.
yeah,
I don't know.
They're just doing that so they want to make sure your eyes are like 100% focused on the direct. They don't want you to look away and stuff during it. Like, you miss a second,
Exactly.
you can miss the biggest announcement.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so true. It's a great way to end it. So there you have it, everyone. Those are our overall thoughts about the Nintendo Direct. And a little bit after we had time to collect our thoughts on it, which I think was useful, particularly for digesting that Mario Cast news. I'm still processing that. But I have to say, like, even though, like, just to circle back to that, like, I need to talk about more. It was so off the wall. It caught me completely by surprise. Like, I had no idea what they were going to do for the cast. But I never would have expected that. But it actually has me even more excited for it, because it tells me, like, one, they're taking this seriously. It has a budget. Those voice actors those actors aren't cheap. And I just want to know where they're going with it. Like, I just want to know what this ends up looking and sounding like. I'm so very curious now. And we didn't even mention the fact that we have a release date now being December of next year. It comes out the week after Avatar 2, which, if that isn't a ballsy-ass move, I don't know what is.
Wow.
It's been, oh man, all I'm thinking is, man, this Avatar movie is not going to make any money then.
Well, that's with Mario. Yeah, Mario somehow stomps the Avatar 2 movie. The highest
Like
grossing
a
movie
Goomba.
of all time. Overtaken by Mario.
But it's Super Andre.
Yep.
It's
I know,
Mario.
you're right. It's Mario. One of the biggest franchises in the world. If
Exactly.
anyone can do it, it's Mario. Take that, James Cameron. Should be directing the Mario movie instead.
Oh, could you imagine a James Cameron directed Mario movie?
Oh.
With lots of blue everywhere for some reason.
I can only imagine how epic the final boss between Mario and Bowser would be. Final boss.
Oh man,
scene.
Mario'd be like, get away from her, you.
Dear God, no, we need that to happen. All right. Anyways, That's our discussion on Nintendo Direct. What did you all think of it? Let us know by posting in the comments below. What do you think of the Mario Cast, the announcement of Kirby the Forgotten, I keep on calling it Forgotten City, Forgotten Land, Bayonetta 3, all that jazz. Let us know by posting in the comments. With that, we'll catch you later. Click subscribe, ring the bell, you know all that. See you guys. Bye.